my friends, this is Stephanie Rittermont with Courageous Living. Have you ever been asked, hey, what are you passionate about? Or have you ever thought, if I could just find my passion, everything will take off and everything will fall into place? Well, in this video, my friends, I'm going to share with you some simple steps on how you can discover your passion. So my friends, I too used to also struggle with defining my passion. I now know my passion is helping people maximize the gifts and talents within them to go further and farther than they ever thought possible. But it took time for me to get that clarity around it. You see, one of the biggest stumbling blocks we have is just that, defining what are we passionate about. We get hung up on some of the words. Well, I want to challenge you, instead of just saying, what is my passion? If you find yourself like you're just getting stuck there, think of it this way. What energizes you? What gets you up in the morning? What has you, accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish or work on the projects that you want to work on? When you think about it, about what energizes you, sometimes that will help bring clarity to what your passion is. What's really deep down inside, that passion that is there, if that's where the energy is at, well then that's where your passion is at. So there's a quote from Andrew Carnegie that I think also captures what energizes you. And here's what he says. If you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts. It liberates your energy and it inspires your hopes. You see, there's that word energy again. So if you're getting stuck on what is your passion, go back to what energizes you. Now, there's some questions that you can ask yourself, and that will kind of help stir up and fan that flame of your passion that's inside of you. Because I believe the passion or passions is inside of you, but sometimes we just need some help in getting clarity around it or getting it to kind of stir up. So here's some questions that you can ask. One of them is, what do you love to create? Another one is, what results move you? What products or service excites you? What are your gifts and the talents within you? And what do you already know about what energizes you? And then maybe what don't you know about what energizes you? See, these are very simple questions. We're not trying to make this a very complicated process. It's very simple. But ask yourself some of those questions that kind of get you to start thinking about where your passion is at. What energizes you? So I have a few things for you that you can start using to help you navigate this process as you are kind of rediscovering or discovering where your passion is at. So as you think about what energizes you, remember where the energy is at, that's where your passion is going to be. But these are some simple steps that you can do in addition to the questions that you can ask yourself to kind of help you navigate this process. And the first thing is don't overthink it. Again, keep it simple because the passion is inside of you. It's just a matter of getting it to come out and see what that looks like. What does it feel like? What do you want it to be in your life? And so don't overthink it. The other thing is go back to the basics. You know, I think about sometimes when I get caught up in my wouldas and shouldas in my head, I go back to the basic childlike faith that I've had. And I go back and say, okay, in that childlike faith, would I be caught up in the wouldas and the shouldas? Would I be all stressed out over this? And the answer is no. So go back to the basics of what energizes you, what used to energize you. Did it get lost somewhere in the years of just life circumstances? So go back to the basics. So the next thing is, name 3 things that you would like to be remembered for if you were to die. Now, that may sound kind of dark, but what it's telling us is that life is short. And if you want to leave a legacy, what does that look like? What are 3 things that you want to be remembered for? And that will help you start to navigate this process of figuring out what energizes you, and then out of that, discovering your passion. So the next step is to think about the end in mind. You know, sometimes we get stuck, right? And we can't seem to get past of where we want to go and what we want to do. We get stuck in maybe the process or the steps. But if you think about 5 to 10 years from now and bring that to present day, what does that look like? Is it freeing? What does it feel like? Because sometimes just taking the future things that you want to accomplish and picture them happening today can help you get unstuck and help you get that energy flowing again so that you can discover your passion. I want to share a few more things with you. The next one is enjoy the journey. It's so important to stay present during this time, not get too far ahead. Don't get caught up in the steps in the process to the point that you're stressed over it. Really enjoy this time of rediscovering or discovering that passion that's inside of you. You know, taking the time to really reflect on that. You're going to learn so much about yourself. So don't forget to enjoy the journey and stay present. The next thing is to have that servant heart. You know, passion is contagious. And when people start seeing the energy that's coming from you, the passion that's coming out of you, they're going to come alongside of you and they're going to join you in this process. So don't forget to have a servant heart. I want to close with this quote that I think captures everything that we've been talking about as far as discovering what energizes you, but also taking that step in the direction of where that passion is at. And this is what it says. It says, if it scares you and excites you at the same time, it probably means you should do it. So until next time, my friend, continue to live that courageous life, be strong and be kind, and don't forget to take the next step in the direction of what energizes you, because there you'll find your passion.